Didn't they rip that down and make it into a big park?
See, I don't know.
Anyway, so you were dating Danny, and and did Uncle Phil? Now, didn't Uncle Phil meet Aunt Delma
through Dad.
through Dad?
Yeah, Dad worked at a place called Sam's Drugs, and that was on Finkel.
Mm-hmm.
And
What was it, Finkel and what? Do you know? I think I've seen a picture of him there.
not there.
I
It was Finkel, the cross street. Gee, I can't think. It might come to me. It's not far from where Uncle Phil had his office.
Oh.
Near Schaefer.
I mean, he had his office then. That
Well,
same office.
he had an office. I think he might have rented it or something. And then he built an office, but it was all close to the same place where he last was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not far from Sam's Country drugstore, so that's how Phil and Al got together, and somehow
They just knew each other because they were business neighbors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they were they good friends or?
No, acquaintances.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad brought Phil over and introduced him to. By that time, I was going with Dad.
You weren't married yet, though.
No.
Yeah.
Introduced him to Auntie Alma,
Mm-hmm.
and they got married before we did. Because Dad didn't have any money. He had tried to open up a store on Hamilton. Oh, I can't remember the cross streets of any of these things. Anyway, it was he opened a store there, a drugstore there, and it was very poor business.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't make a go of it. Finally got rid of it, and then he got a job, and after he got a job, then we got married.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway.
Where did you move when you got married?
I don't remember. It was in the 12th Street area.
Yeah.
We moved into a one room, just one room and a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
I have some pictures that we took when we were there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a folding bed that you opened up the bed, and that's where we slept.
Mm-hmm.
You opened up and took the bed out of the closet, you know.
Yeah.
All those Murphy beds.
I've seen pictures of you and Dad and Uncle Phil and Aunt Delma out on, I guess, in a park.
We would go
riding
double dating
bicycles.
and rent bicycles for 25 cents a day.
Yeah.
We went on double dates like that. We did a lot of double dating after Phil met Alma.
What park? What did you go to? Belle Isle?
Palmer Park.
Palmer Park.
Because that was close by.
That's closest.
That
Yeah.
was in the neighborhood. And they rented bikes there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
When you got married, then you moved to the 12th Street area. That was that it was still a real Jewish neighborhood?
Yeah, it was still a Jewish neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, then when I got pregnant with Barbara, we moved to we rented an apartment on Richton,
Mm-hmm.
and it was an upstairs. It was owned, it was a two-family flat. It was owned by the people downstairs,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where Barbara was going to the hospital, but that's where we brought her home there.
Where is Richton? Is that in the same neighborhood?
Richton is in Detroit. It's a couple of blocks north of Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
And it was near between 14th and Linwood. That's where we lived there. Had two family flats there.
Mm-hmm.
And on Linwood, that's where I did my shopping. There was a kosher butcher and grocery stores and everything there. I would walk with the buggy and Barbara
Mm-hmm.
to get my stuff.
Did you have a big wedding?
Well, not really. Daddy paid for the wedding.
Yeah.
My father, Uncle Ben owed him some money, and he says, when Uncle Ben pays him the money, that'll be my wedding gift. That's the kind of a guy my father was.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, I never had any money because I made so little, and I gave a lot to my mother to help her pay the rent too.
Mhm.
And so somehow I all paid for the wedding, so all we had was a sweet table.
Mhm.
And we were supposed to have a rabbi that Dad knew, but this rabbi had two daughters, and they wanted Daddy to marry one of their daughters, and they didn't. So somehow the rabbi got sick, and we had to get somebody else to marry us.
Mhm. So who married you?
I don't know, some guy. He took care of those arrangements. He was a shtickle rabbi. And
Where was it at? Where was it at here?
it was at a catering place.
Uh-huh. Do you know?
God, I can't remember the name of that either.
Yeah.
You're asking me too late. You should have asked me 10 years ago.
Who came?
Well, Dad had a lot of cousins, and Rose came, and Aunt Sarah had gotten married in Israel,
Mhm.
and Jack and Uncle
Aunt
Jack.
Sarah, Dad's sister.
Yeah, Aunt
Yeah.
Sarah, Dad's sister. And Uncle Jack was trying to get Uncle Jack into this country,
Mhm.
and Aunt Sarah had trouble, and he finally got his papers to come in.
She married him in Israel?
Yeah, she had a real nice wedding in Israel. Her parents gave her.
When was this, during the war? Or
Well, we got married in 1940.
yeah.
She got married a few years before that.
Oh, so it was before the war. But it was still, because I know Uncle Jack
Yeah.
was originally from Germany, right?
Yeah, he was
So
a refugee.
really
He went to
got-
France from Germany. He was a refugee there, and he worked there. But then they took away his working papers.
Yeah. He was
So
one
he
step
had to-
ahead of Hitler, really.
Yeah. Well, he lost two brothers to Hitler.
Or Uncle Jack.
Yeah.
I never knew that, but he could have had some stories to tell.
Yeah. And Jack was kind of annoyed with me because I didn't wait for him to come.
Yeah.
I was tired of waiting for Daddy. He didn't have any money and this and that. So we finally made the arrangements. I didn't want to wait for Uncle Jack to
Yeah.
come because I didn't know when he was going to come anyway.
Yeah. Did you know? You didn't even know Uncle Jack at that
No,
time.
I didn't. I met Auntie Sarah. And Dad's parents weren't too happy about marrying me because I was a poor girl. My parents were divorced,
Yeah.
and I had no yippus, no status in the community.
Yeah.
And
Like Daddy's family had such high status.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, what else?
Who else was at the wedding?
Oh, who else was at the wedding?
Yeah.
Well, I had some friends. Also, my aunt and uncle and Regina and Milt at the wedding, I guess. Or were they in Florida? Were they in California already?
Eugenia and Milt?
Eugenia and Milt got married before we did.
Yeah. They lived in Oak Park during my childhood, so I don't think they were in California yet, unless they moved out to California and then moved back.
Oh, Aunt Sarah was in California there with Shirley. Shirley was a very pretty girl, and Aunt Sarah wanted her to become a movie star.
Yeah.
And so Aunt Sarah and Uncle Ben were in California, and
Yeah.
Eugenia and Milt were here. Eugenia Milt wouldn't move to California until his parents died,
Mhm.
because his mother died after. Well, first his father died, then his mother died. He wouldn't leave his mother until she died.
What did Milt do? I never.
Well, originally he worked in a jewelry store as a clerk,
Mhm.
and then things got bad, and they let him go. And he got a very lucky streak. He got in touch with this man. I don't know how. Who wanted to sell his. First, he worked for the man. Milt would sell Christmas gifts to these big companies,
Mhm.
and it was a very lucrative business. And he worked for this man for years, and he did all right. And then the man decided he wanted to retire, and he sold his business to Milt.
Mhm.
And that's how Milt made his money.
selling Christmas gifts.
These big concerns would get the same gifts to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So he would sell them these gifts. And so it was a nice,
Mm-hmm.
so Eugene is well set
Yeah.
from this business.
Is Milt still alive?
No, he died a few years ago.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Eugene is all alone now,
Yeah, because there's
except for Shirley.
yeah the boy. What was the boy's name? Eugene's boy.
Stuart.
Stuart. That's right.
Yeah.
He got killed in a traffic accident in San Francisco.
The drunk driver was crossing the street and
He was a pedestrian.
yeah,
Of course.
in San Francisco on his 30th birthday.
Yes.
That's a terrible tragedy. And what else?
So you and Danny moved to where was the house your first?
It was on Richton near Petoskey.
And then
Well, Petoskey in Richton was where Grandma had her first store.
mm-hmm.
And when Dad and I got married, that was our second apartment. That was on Richton, but that was between 14th Street and Linwood. That was on the other side of Petoskey. It was west of Dexter,
Mm-hmm.
so it was quite a distance away.
So then you became pregnant with Barbara and you moved to where?
That's where we moved.
Oh, that's
to.
where you moved to.
Yeah, from this one room with a kitchen efficiency,
Mm-hmm.
and then
When did Dad get the store on Woodward on
Alhambra Drugs.
Alhambra Drugs? Yeah.
Well, I think, gee, that was after Melvin was born.
Yeah. So before that, then he was working. He had that store in Hamilton, and that didn't work out, and he got a job with some other store.
He got a job for at another drugstore.
Yeah. Who was that? He worked for too.
It was right across the street from Harvard Hospital. It was called Hospital Drugs.
Uh-huh.
He worked there for many years. The name of the pharmacist, there were two brothers that owned that store, and their name was Henkin Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became pregnant with Melvin. I wanted all my children.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went and bought this home on Woodingham.
Yeah. When you were pregnant with Melvin, that's when you bought the Woodingham house?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was...
We stayed there for about 20 years.
And that neighborhood was probably the new Jewish neighborhood,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you move ahead of the...
No, we didn't move ahead of the group.
Yeah.
And then when I became pregnant with you, I had you at that house too.
Yeah, that's where I was born at.
Mm-hmm.
So when did Dad get the Alhambra Drugs? That was when you were pregnant with Melvin? Is that what you said? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And we had that store for about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it earned us a living, nothing special.
Yeah.
And then when the neighborhood changed completely, that's when we moved out. We were one of the last white people that moved out of that.
Yeah.
Woodingham, do you remember that?
Yeah, sure. I was 17, 18 years old. Something. I guess I was 18.
How old were you when they mugged you?
Oh, I think I was 13 or 14.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of kids just beat me up.
For no damn good reason?
Yeah, they were just, they were white kids. I don't know who they were or what they were doing. It was just their idea of a good time. Some neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was a a nice neighborhood for a long time.
And then that happened.
Yeah.
You were out with what, a Richard or something?
No, I had been over at Robert Track's house,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just walking home. I don't think it was particularly late. It had to be before, it must have been 10 or so, because you and Dad were still at the store. And
Were we at the store or were we, had we gone out someplace?
I think you were out at the store working, I think.
Mm.
And I came home and Melvin was home. I don't know where Barbara was. She might. Oh, by that time, I guess Barbara was out of the house. So had moved on.
She was going to college then?
I don't know. If I was 17 and she's 7 years older,
No, I
she
know,
was,
but when you were beat up.
oh, 13. No, she's 7 years older, so she was 20. I don't know where
She
she
might
was.
have been. She might have been at the school at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah. Well, didn't she live at home when she was in school?
No. She finally moved out into a little apartment on campus.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was in graduate school. Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh well. Yeah, because after she graduated, then she moved to Washington for that year,
Yeah.
and then she moved back
Mm-hmm.
for graduate school. And I thought that's when she moved out. I don't know. I don't remember exactly.
Well, she had moved out. Well, you might be right though, come to think of it.
I'm not sure. Have to get that on Barbara's video.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that brings us up to my memory.
Yeah.
So I have to have Lauren take a video of me.
Yeah.
She can pick my brain. Lots of years. Let's see. I'm trying to think of. I don't know. I guess there's some mysteries we'll never know when we go beyond the Feldmans and the Feldman Philos and the Shaknovitzes. How do you spell Shaknovitz?
Oh, well, write it down.
Yeah.
S-H-A-C-H-N-O.
S-H-A-C-H-N-O.
B-I-T-Z.
Yeah, T-C. See, I always put a... It's not S-C-H, right?
No.
Yeah. S-H-A-C-H-N-O-V-I-T-Z. Some bank accounts will ask you your mother's maiden name and how to spell it.
You all spell it different
And
way.
yeah, I can never remember how to spell it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, thanks, Mama.
You're welcome.
It was real interesting. Do you want to see some of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.